Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Beantown Breakdown, episode 1. It's where sports and Massachusetts culture meet. I'm Nick Galle. I'm joined by my great co-host, friend, colleague, everything under the sun, Andrew Parker. I'll start off, Andrew. How we doing today? Saturday morning. How's it feeling?
Yeah, it's feeling pretty good. Patriots game day, but I'm excited to be back on a pod again. It's been a few years,
It's
hasn't
been
it?
Years.
Yeah,
Been years.
it's good to get back into things. I know me and Nick were co-hosts, I guess, for how long was that?
I mean, a few years, couple years
Yeah,
maybe. It was
I
over
mean,
80 episodes.
yeah. So we wanted to kind of do something new here. That way we could get back into the swing of things, start putting out some more content here. We've already talking about lining up some cool guests. So Nick, super excited to be back doing this. So
Oh, it's exciting. It is exciting. Beantown Breakdown presented by Boston Sports Syndicate. So we're really glad to be doing this for the syndicate. Should be exciting. Hopefully the pod goes well here. Episode 1 today. We got, a pretty packed show for episode 1, I guess. Got some good things to talk about. Definitely has some more episodes down the line with some more content. Don't want to overwhelm anyone here in episode 1. But we got to start off with the most recent news. We'll get into some Pats previews a little bit later, but Celtics falling to the Golden State Warriors last night. It was a closely contested game. Steph Curry was great in the first half, calmed down a little bit in the second half there. But this Celtics team, I mean, I know we're jumping into the podcast kind of like not quite midway, but we're getting there midway through the season. It's disappointing, honestly. I mean, I don't know your thoughts on this team, but I hate it. Every night is painful as a Celtics
you,
fan in
you
some
made
way or another.
you made a good tweet last night.
It
I think it
that I will read the tweet. I'll actually pull up the tweet here
summed
too.
up this season
Let me roll.
literally perfectly.
We'll roll the tweet right here. All right, here it is. So yeah, as you can see, I tweeted this out last night, and it's true. I mean, the Celtics basically start fine, trail by 20. They might be coming back. They kind of do build a comeback, and then what do you know? Nauseating heartbreak. There it is.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I can't tell you how many games I've tuned into this year where I kind of peep the score at halftime and I'm like, oh, Celtics are down 15. I think yesterday you're down 14 and a half. It's usually 14 to 18 points, I feel like, at half. And then I'll check in again around the third quarter. I'm like, holy cow, like it's a 2-point game right now. And then obviously I tuned in last night and it was just heartbreak at the end. So it's just, I feel like they're just like, they're right there at
yeah.
they're right there to compete with the teams like Golden State. But they just can't finish the deal.
They can't. And down 14 and a half, you mentioned, after a just bizarre happening. I mean, just a bizarre call, bizarre event. Marcus Smart fouls Steph Curry at like a half court heave. I think there was 0.9 seconds left when they inbounded the ball. The foul happens with 0.1 or something like that. And you're down 10. You were down 20 earlier. You kind of build a little bit of momentum. Now you're down 10. Probably going to go into halftime down 10. This foul happens. Goes from 10 to 14 after Ime Udoka gets a technical as well. So you send Steph to the line to shoot 4. He sinks all 4. You're down 14. Those are the kind of things that the Celtics have been doing this year. And it's frustrating every single game. This is the most 500 team I've ever seen.
Yeah, I was gonna actually ask you. So, I mean, you're our resident basketball guy. I feel like you're definitely the expert here. But in your opinion, with as many games as we've seen that are literally following the exact same mold, what needs to change? Is it something? Is it coaching? Is it just players not executing? Like, why are we like? Why is this same mold happening every game?
I mean, I get you got to take a look at personnel, I guess. I mean, this team clearly isn't the one it was last year or, a couple years ago, 3 years ago. There's a lot of new guys here. I think a lot of these guys, definitely aren't all-star players. I don't think Romeo Langford is going to be on the cover of Slam anytime soon. I really don't. But he's played a bigger role this year. Grant Williams has played a bigger role this year. With that being said, Grant Williams has been honestly fantastic, exceeding expectations. Guy's been an absolute sniper from 3-point range. Didn't expect that. Jabari Parker's getting minutes. Enos Freedom is playing an increasingly bigger role. It's stuff like that. Dennis Schroeder's been great, but obviously a new piece. How's the chemistry there? We don't know. We know there were some locker room problems earlier in the season, team only meetings, team dinners, whatever you want to say. But I think what it comes down to for me is Udoka. I mean, he's the one major difference from last year and years past. With Brad Stevens, we saw this stuff happen sometimes, but never as much as it is now. And
Yeah,
Udoka, I mean,
it's alarming, I think.
it is,
'Cause
especially for a guy who said he was going to be so, keen on having these guys under control and this and that. And he doesn't. It seems like he doesn't. I mean, this guy comes in trying to run a tight ship, and the ship is sinking, and we're not even in 2022 yet.
Yeah, it's tough because, like you said, it's moving from a guy like Brad Stevens, somebody who, Brad Stevens, he didn't have a losing season at Butler. Even like he's like always been a winner at the levels he's been at. Obviously, he couldn't seal the deal in the playoffs ever for the Celtics, but you bring in a new coach. You think that's going to kind of change things and be like, hey, maybe we just need a new voice. Like Brad's still part of the process, obviously.
Yeah.
But I guess that kind of like I don't know your opinion on this, and I know it's a little touchy because you hear it on sports radio here in Boston, and there's definitely strong opinions on both sides. But do you think we have is it a Tatum and Brown problem that they can't work together? Is it something that one of them? I don't know. Like you hear sides all the time. Like, hey, these two will never work out together. We need to get rid of one. Or like, hey, they just need another piece. Like, what do you think it is?
I think it's another piece. I think it's supporting cast because it's crazy to me. Whenever Boston's winning, people just shut up about it. But then as soon as there's turmoil, it's like, oh, it has to be Tatum or Brown. It's one of them. I don't think that's the case. This team has had success with Tatum and Brown before. And even they've had success with Smart on the team too. I mean, this is a team that took LeBron to 7 games in the Eastern Conference Finals not too long ago. And, Tatum and Brown were on that team. Smart was on that team. Granted, it was a vastly different team. Okay. The supporting cast was different. You obviously had a new coach. I think Tatum and Brown are fine. I mean, I don't understand. Like, I realize they're better since then. They have higher profiles since then. Probably bigger egos, whether they want to admit that or not. But I don't think Tatum and Brown are the problem. I don't. I mean, look at them as who they actually are. 2 amazing players. You have 2 amazing players on your team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down the middle. I am because it's
tough.
like
it's tough.
It is because it's like, your Jason Tatum is entering his prime years is what I guess if you look at like just historically like NBA players, like when they are really hitting their top stride, I think Tatum is almost there. I mean, I feel like he's still 21. I mean, he's freaking or 19 or whatever the joke was. But
it was 19. Way to mess up the joke and just kill it
yikes
right off the gate here.
But I feel like he's still just like so young, but he's getting close to like that. I think 26 is when they said it. Like that's like the if you look at like Kobe stats, if you look at like LeBron stats, like that's when they were like at their peak. And then obviously they kept their peak longer than everybody else. But I mean, the age range I was seeing was like, hey, around 26, that's when guys are ready to like really carry teams to like finals. Look at Giannis. Like he's another good example, but
you just call him Giannis.
Yeah.
What was that? What was that right there?
What is it?
I believe it's Giannis. I mean, everyone else
You want to spell that for the people at home, or
I can spell it 100%. Giannis, and then I can even hit you with Antetokounmpo. ANTETOCOUNMPO. I think.
I'm impressed. I don't think that was it, but
no, I'm pretty sure. No, yeah, we're going to the phone right now. What did I say? I said NM. Did I?
There's so many letters right there. I was pretty thrown off.
Yeah, no, I got it. I definitely got it. If someone wants to replay that, I definitely got it.
All right.
That might be a part. the fact that I live in Milwaukee now, but I got it for
It's
sure.
tough. All right,
I
it's
mean,
Giannis.
there
I'll
you
get
go.
that one next time.
There you go.
But yeah, I don't know, man. It's I'm on the fence still. So
I mean, I don't blame you, honestly. It's easy. But in terms of we got to infuse some culture in the show here. Last night, Steph Curry got a little gift at a local Boston restaurant. Little pizza with the 3-point record pasted all over it. We'll show the picture right now. There it
which, by
is.
the way, where he went in the North End, Strega, absolutely amazing. By the way, I think it is a top 5 Italian place in the North End, and there's probably about 40 Italian places there. It's packed, but they have this thing at Strega. I think it's called a Parmesan wheel, and they literally make your pasta in the Parmesan wheel. It's fantastic.
I've never been there, if I'm being 100% honest with you.
It is fantastic. It is one of my favorite spots to go. Always got to get the Parmesan wheel pasta. I don't know what it's called exactly, but I'm kind of disappointed Steph wouldn't get something like that. But
we don't know. I mean, he could have gotten more.
That's true.
Perhaps.
I looked at his plate, though. It didn't look like his plate was in the background there on that photo. It didn't look like he had the Parmesan wheel, but
that is true. I want to talk
spot,
about,
though.
I mean, it seems like a great spot just from the picture that I saw and from the things I've heard, reviews I've heard.
It's kind of cool because when you go in there, there's the walls are like, it's those places you go in and there's like walls filled of the owner with like Tom Brady,
famous
and like
people.
Like every famous person. You go in there and there is like, it looks like you're in like a 1960s like mafia movie. There's like everybody's in like decked out suit, all on the wall. It's like suits everywhere. And there's like Sylvester Stallone and like Al Pacino and like a bunch of people on the wall. It's like, holy cow. It's like
sounds
cool,
kind of
actually.
intimidating, but cool at the same time.
It is.
I tell you, the craziest element about that photo, that Steph photo. You see the background? Would you notice anything in the background there? I'm gonna pull up the picture again.
Yeah.
There it is. Back right. You got some girls. They appear to be taking an Instagram photo. I mean, personally, if Steph was behind me, I'd be freaking out. But I think this was a genius move by the girls right here.
I think they knew he was there, though.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. They definitely got him in the back of the photo, which is just an absolute baller Instagram post. If you got Steph in the background of your photo. I mean, I think that was just a great cover play by them.
Oh, yeah. Because she's probably, I could see her uploading that to Instagram and saying it's just me and my buddy Steph or something.
I'm telling you. At first I was like, there is no way that these people are taking a Instagram photo with Steph just chilling right behind them. But then it clicked to me. I was like, wait a second. They are getting Steph in this photo, like in the most just kind of undercover way that you possibly can in a moment like that. So that's genius. That's genius on their part.
A little part of me is upset that Curry didn't break the record in Boston instead.
That would have been cool.
At MSG, yeah.
I mean, that would have been great because then you just know the Garden is charging about $900 for nosebleed seats.
That's true. I just like it when when history happens here. It's just still cool, even if it's not Boston history. But I
mean, speaking of history,
basketball history.
Speaking of history, you had your own historical event the other day. Little run-in with Romeo Langford, in which you acted like a coward and got no picture.
Yeah, I blew it. I was walking down Guest Street outside the practice facility, and it's just one of those things where it's just like nobody else is on the sidewalk but me and Romeo Langford walking towards each other. So it was one of those things where like you don't know what you're gonna do in the moment until you're actually in that moment. So I did blow it. Should ask for a photo with.
You don't know what you're gonna do in the moment until you're actually in that moment. This isn't a national tragedy here that you're facing. This is seeing Romeo Langford on the street.
Yeah, but it's just like it's the whole like say say you're walking down the street and Tom Brady's in front of you, you would freeze up. Like
me and Tom always hang out, man. I don't know.
I know Romeo Langford isn't Tom Brady, but he was walking straight towards me. I was going to New Balance over there, so I was not prepared to run into anybody. And yeah, just kind of ran into him, just said, tell them hello.
I'm sure he appreciated that.
Yeah, so always be on the lookout. If you're over there in Brighton on Guest Street, that's obviously with the 2 practice facilities there.
Oh
You
yeah.
always got to be on high alert, I guess. So
Oh, no doubt. No doubt at all. So yeah, that's what's going on with the Celtics right now. Hopefully we have like better news about them in coming episodes, but for right now it sucks. I honestly hate every single game I watch. I literally do. And there's a lot of nights where like I'm doing Bucks coverage for like freelance stuff, so I can't even watch the season. I'm just kind of following along on my phone. And it's like that's even sickening. But yeah, just the same format every night, same template. A team that has been rewarding Boston sports fans everywhere. That a team that is back, as they say, the New England Patriots, absolutely scorching right now. Everything going right for this team, and they play the Colts tonight. A big, big game that could have playoff implications. You know, the Colts are kind of right in the hunt here. The Pats, obviously, atop the AFC East. I mean, this team, Andrew, a lot of things to like about. A lot of things. I remember back when we did our podcast, 20 years ago, what it seems like now. But back when we did it, this team was cooking. We were working during the Super Bowl run where they beat the Falcons.
yep.
So this
Yeah.
team was an absolute unit, and it seems like, they're a contender again.
This might be this is actually the biggest game of the year. It's got to be up to this time. I think the
You
Bills
think?
game,
I think the Bills won.
Monday night was the most important game of the year until this game. So
All right.
with the Bills, with us going 2 games ahead of the Bills, that's big because if we beat the Colts this week, we would still, and assuming the Bills can beat the Panthers, which I think they will, we'll still be 2 games ahead of them.
Yeah.
And that game next week now against the Bills on Sunday isn't really as important as the first game was. So that's why I'm kind of like trying to like level it and be like, I think the Colts game is the most important because not necessarily because it's the Colts and because they're actually in contention for the playoffs as well. But I just think with us staying in front of the Bills, this means everything. Say you lose to the Colts and the Bills beat the Panthers. Guess what? Next week is another battle for the division, technically. Because
then it's a massive game. Yeah.
Bills beat you and you guys are tied. And then it has to go through tiebreakers because each game, if you split, it's like tiebreakers go through like a bunch of other things. So you don't control your own destiny anymore. I don't know. Do you think it's the biggest? I think it's literally the biggest game that they're going to have all year.
I don't think it. I don't think it might be the biggest game they'll have all year. I mean,
well, until playoffs is what I'm saying.
Well, yeah. Well, regular season. I mean, as you mentioned, if things go right tonight, I mean, the next Bills game is a bigger game. I would say. I mean, if you just win out. I think another thing we have to keep in mind too is like, what if this team peaked early? I hate to say it.
They haven't lost in like 2 months.
That's the thing, like the dreaded early peak. If you do so well and then you drop, 2 of your last 3 games, 3 out of your last 4, whatever.
Yeah,
that's not good.
It's tough, right? Because I think we've last seen that in the baseball playoffs leading up to it. The St. Louis Cardinals set a record this past year for how many wins they have like 21 wins in a row or something
crazy. It was
absolutely
like 19
wild
or something.
And it was right before the playoffs started. And I was like, I just really feel like they're hitting their stride just literally like a week or two too early. Yeah. And then what do you know? They lose their first game. Like they lose that wild card game to the Dodgers. So it's like, I don't want to see that happen with the Patriots. I really don't. Like I hope. You don't want to wish for a loss, but it's like, man, they haven't lost in like 2 months. Like, you think they're due for an L pretty soon?
I don't know. I mean, I would just like to see them win out personally. Like, do you think this team, honestly, non-biased, do you think this team has? I don't think defensively it's a question of whether or not this team's good enough because this defense has been fantastic and they added some nice pieces in the offseason. Obviously, Matthew Judon being the kind of
Absolutely
headliner
amazing.
of that group. Yeah. Also has top 3 celebration of all time. Anytime anything remotely good happens to me in my life, I do that. I mean, anytime anything, even just like I find like a nickel on the ground nowadays, that's really what I'm kind of down to. I find a nickel on the ground, I'm like, give me the Matthew Judon celebration. But
yeah, I
um,
like it.
what was I saying? Yeah. So, the defense. Yeah, the defense. I don't think there's any question there. But do you think this team has the offensive pieces? Because they've played well, but going into the playoffs, I would say Kendrick Bourne, Jacoby Myers, Nelson Aguilar, Damian Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, that core group of guys is probably on the lower rung on paper of names that are going to be in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. And I think tonight will be a big, like, hey, Mac Jones threw 3 passes in the last game he played. Obviously, the weather, it was against Buffalo. Yeah. But, I think tonight is going to definitely be like the breaking point. It's like the Colts have a pretty good defense. They're a pretty good team. They've been rolling lately too. So I kept hearing a lot of things about, the Patriots haven't played anybody, but I don't know.
A guy I want to talk about too here, just before we hop into the last part of our show, episode 1. It's gone very well, I think. Nick Folk. This guy's a machine. Andrew. I mean, this guy does not miss kicks.
I've seen him put up like 20 points in fantasy every week, so it's been.
I have him in fantasy. That's why I know this man is just I mean, from watching the games too, obviously, but you don't really realize when you're watching the games like how dominant this man has been. I mean, you do realize, but when you see it on paper and fantasy numbers, I feel like it's like, holy moly, this guy's putting up 20 points as a kicker. But it's true. This guy's been incredible, and last year he was really streaky. How did this man turn it around? Is he on like the Brady like avocado ice cream diet, or like what's he doing? I have no idea.
We actually got like really lucky when we were growing up that we went through Vinatieri and the Gostkowski years, where it was like anytime a Patriots kicker went out, it was like, I don't care if it was from 50 plus, like Gostkowski was draining that in his prime. And then you went post Gostkowski, who I can't remember the year between Gostkowski. There was a couple years, I think, in between Gostkowski and Folk, and it was just like we were having kicker issues.
Who they have?
I gotta look that one up, but it's alarming that like we were so comfortable with just our special teams was always really good because we got so lucky. We went from Vinatieri to Gostkowski. And
that's going to kill me. I got to look it up. Keep talking.
Yeah, I got to look that up too. I have no idea. But Nick Folk is like, he's got to be the real deal at this point, right?
100%. I think he's been the real deal for a while now. Mike Nugent, I believe, was there.
Mike Nugent.
Shane Graham as well.
No way.
What a brutal, I mean, like, no one was sitting in their living room, like, seeing Mike Nugent jog out on the field. And
oh,
like,
my gosh.
Being like, oh, great, here it comes, Mike Nugent, feeling good.
Holy cow. Yeah, like, Mike Nugent.
That was a guy, like, I could see his face. I just forgot the name. Easy to forget Mike Nugent, honestly. If Mike Nugent's listening, sorry, but, like, I mean, come on, man. Yeah, that was a brutal era.
It seems like it was so quick, right? Because
because they were bringing in guys, and it was like, it was not good. It was like a revolving door of kickers for a little bit there.
Yeah, so it was like, going from a guy who we had, like, obviously Vinatieri won a couple Super Bowls with the Patriots. Obviously, he's a legend for obviously kicking that game-winning field goal against the Rams. But then we went from Vinatieri to Gostkowski, and Gostkowski, has definitely been on a couple Super Bowl teams. So it's great. I mean, it's nice having stability at the kicker position again, like with Nick Folk.
You need it.
You do. especially like with a rookie QB with Mac Jones. It's like,
Yeah.
You gotta be able to help him put points on the board. Like Mac's not gonna make like, I guess I watched Justin Herbert make like an insane throw last week against the Raiders, and I'm like, I don't think Mac Jones is there yet, obviously, but maybe he won't be. I don't know, but
he doesn't need to be right now. I think he does his job. He knows the offense. Like, this run game has been incredible, and it's still been that kind of revolving door of running backs in the backfield. It's kind of been a running back by committee type situation, as it usually is in New England. And even without James White, this team's been really good. Damian Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, even Brandon Bolden, which makes me nauseous to say, because like Brandon Bolden.
McDaniels loves Brandon Bolden's 3rd and 11.
Oh God! Don't even get me going. It's like, if it's 3rd and 21.
Brandon Bolden up the gut.
It's Brandon Bolden going up the gut, or it's the Brandon Bolden screen. Like either one, and I hate it. I hate it so much.
Josh McDaniels loves it. All right, he loves it.
Oh, it's terrible. Like 3rd and long, Josh McDaniels is licking his chops to try and find Brandon Bolden.
Got the Bolden play. We got the Bolden play.
He's like, where's Brandon? Get him out there. Get out BB right now. I mean, get him
Mac
on
just
that
got
field.
sacked for an 18-yard loss on 2nd down. All right, Bolden it is.
Brandon, get in there right now. That's how it is. It's every single time, and I hate it. But I guess it's been clicking. Like every time, it's bizarre. Like Brandon Bolden, like sometimes he just gets these chunk plays, and I'm like, what are we doing right now?
But you know what though? You know what kind of reminds me of is like we have been so accustomed to like on 3rd and long, Brady used to just throw a little dump off to James White, and James White would get those yards every time. Like
I think I'm fine with it being James White. It's just the fact it's Brandon Bolden.
Agree.
It's like, oh, James White, like McDaniels could run the same exact play with James White. I'd be like, oh, James, like good play, 3rd and long, you might as well. I see Brandon Bolden, I'm like, God, why is he on the field?
He's a good special teamers. Yeah, it seems like he's been on the Patriots for like 10, 15 years at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I feel like he's always been here. He's never had an offensive like role until this year. So that's why I think we're all kind of like, what's going on here? But
it's bizarre. You got to do what you got to do though.
Yeah.
That's the Patriots motto. Lifestyle.
But so leading back into the game tonight.
Yes.
What?
Are we going score prediction?
Yeah, I mean, we could do a little score prediction, but just what do you think? Do you think there's going to be any surprises tonight? Like, who on the Patriots surprises you tonight? Who's your guy?
I think Brandon Bolden. You want me to get bold?
Realistically, who's the guy?
You want me to get bold? Tonight? Oh, geez.
Like, are you thinking it's going to be like a defensive battle? Is it going to be like, Damian Harris is out. So Ramondre Stevenson's our guy. Like, do you think he's going to go off? You think Mac's going to just shut up everybody, throw for like 300 yards? I don't know.
I think it'll be a nice little comeback game for Mac. He was obviously vastly limited. If you just heard the car absolutely race by my window, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
My goodness. I think you got to have a bounce back game from Mac after the kid threw 3 passes against Buffalo. So, I think he's going to have to, because it's a good Colts offense. It is. It's a solid Colts offense when they're clicking.
Yeah.
When Carson
Wentz can sling it.
He can. And, he's got
sometimes it's the wrong team, but he can still sling it.
Granted, and, he's got some weapons, too. I mean, Taylor's the best running back in the league, in my opinion, right now.
So good.
He's going to be a weapon. And you're going to have to put up some points tonight. I think Mac Jones is the key to the game. The defense will do its thing. I think, they haven't proven that they're not going to do their thing in quite some time. So I think they're going to do their thing again. And Mac Jones is the guy. I got Pats. Tonight. I got him going. Let's say I got him big. I got him 31-20, New England.
Okay. Yeah, I like it. I think I think if I'm not mistaken tonight, the line for the game, I think is that.
I think Pats are like the underdogs, aren't they?
They are, which is the first time they've been the underdog in a little bit. So, I don't know. They were the underdog against Buffalo, just because they were in Buffalo, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Colts are favored by 2.5. I think it's the 2.5 is literally only because the Colts are the home team. That's how it was against the Bills. So I think it's going to be pretty even. I think, I think Jonathan Taylor is going to, like you said, dude is the best running back in football right now, obviously with Derrick Henry gone, but guy has just been running all over every single defense. So I think our defense, though, is the best in the league. I think statistically they are as well. So I think if anybody can stop them, it needs to be us. So I think if we just limit Jonathan Taylor, make Carson Wentz beat you, I think we win that game. So
100%.
And I agree with your Mac thing. I think he's got to be able to step up and really throw it. I think they're going to stack the box a ton. So obviously with us just running all last week, they're going to try to make Mac throw the ball. So because we proved we could beat a pretty good Bills team by just running the ball. So I think they're definitely going to try to stop it. And I think Mac is going to be the guy. I'm thinking I'm going to go 28-21.
I like it.
Pats. And I think the guy who has a little coming out party / good game is
Brandon Bolden.
Jonnu Smith. Close.
All right.
But Jonnu's career numbers against the Colts, by the way, really good.
Very good.
He shredded them when he was in Tennessee. They play him twice a year.
Yeah.
So, but Jonnu Smith, man, he's got a lot of talent, and I think
he's got a lot of talent, but let's not jump around it. He sucked this year.
I agree. He's struggled with drops, but if you get him out in open field, he can make people miss tackles, and he's a big guy. So I like Hunter Henry, obviously, too. I think Hunter Henry's our best red zone target by a mile and a half. But
no doubt.
Earlier in the season, it seemed like he was catching TDs like every game. He's kind of been a little quiet lately, but I think the tight ends both have good games. So that's what I'm looking at.
I think that's a great take right there. I'll tell you what, like literally, there's 3 plays in the offensive playbook when it comes to passing for McDaniels. We talked about one. It was a Brandon Bolden screen. Second one is throwing to Kendrick Bourne on a slant route in which he goes for 45 yards. And the third one is just finding Hunter Henry in the end zone. And that's how they get down the field. And then they run.
Yeah.
So those are the 3 plays right there. And I'm sure we'll see all 3 tonight at least 9 times. To close the show here, it's gone very well. I think we got to do a little culture close down, which might be the name for how we end each show now. I understand. Well, I understand close down is probably not even a word. It might be, but we'll figure it out. It sounds.
We'll make it a word.
The culture CD, the culture close down, the CCD, which is, I believe, like church class. CCD. So we're not going to do CCD. We'll stick with the culture close down. But Christmas coming up, we might have another show out before Christmas. But Christmas in Boston, always a very fun time, always a hectic time, especially for travel. What is your favorite part about Christmas in Boston or just Massachusetts in general?
It's gotta be just the common, and I mentioned earlier to you, Newberry Street. It's really nice down there. Every single tree is like lit up. It's kind of like your classic like out of a movie type thing. So
big Hallmark movie guy, Parker.
Yeah, I mean, my mom always had them on when I was growing up, so I was kind of stuck with them. Some of them, they're a little cheesy sometimes, but they're all feel good movies. They're feel good.
They're drastically unrealistic. Come on now.
No, I agree.
Kids I mean, just
I'm not gonna throw one on. All right, I'm not.
No, yeah, just no correlation to Christmas whatsoever. It's like, oh great, Johnny broke both his legs. We're gonna have Christmas in July. Because he can't walk in December. They have to amputate his legs. That's pretty much how it is. And they're like, oh, great. We don't have to amputate Johnny's legs. I mean, that's how they are. They're just absurd.
I agree. But I think that also the Seaport, they're doing a really good job. Obviously, there's just so much going on in the Seaport all the time. They have a little area called the Snowport, which is like a holiday market over there that we checked out, and you can't go wrong with any of it. Like downtown is like just a beautiful place during around Christmas.
It really is. I mean, once you get in the city, it's perfect. One thing I just hate is the travel. It's terrible. Like obviously having to fly into Boston for the holidays. I mean, it's terrible.
Oh yeah, it's tough for you though. Like, what about you though? Growing up out near Worcester, like what did you do? Like, kind of growing up did you come into the city, or is there stuff out there? Like,
I
I'm
mean, there's
curious.
definitely stuff out there. Obviously Worcester, like you can get to Boston like
Yeah.
45 minutes, no traffic, but usually there is traffic, and so it usually takes like an hour 15. So like, yeah, I take the commuter rail in sometimes. Usually catch like C's games right around the holidays was big if they were playing on Christmas Day. The family didn't usually like to spend Christmas at like a sporting event, so we'd watch it on TV. But if the game was around the holidays, we'd go. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's definitely stuff to do out in Worcester, but we usually pretty low key. Like, grew up in your prototypical, cul-de-sac neighborhood. So it was like,
Yeah.
if there was snow on the ground, you'd be hanging out with the neighborhood kids, just chilling. I went to school with all of them, stuff like that. But like, I'm trying to think like if we went to any events. I remember a big thing was like going to see lights,
Yep.
like the big light displays.
Oh, the drive-through ones, or
Yeah, the drive-through
yeah.
ones. So those were like
Okay.
always fun. And sometimes there was like a walk-around one, which was always cool too. But like
Apparently, they have a big one down at Gillette.
I think I heard about that.
Yeah, in the parking lot or something. I
Yeah.
haven't been to it, but
I always kind of hated them though.
yeah,
I
I'd
feel like
rather go
it's
walk
really
around.
anticlimactic.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
agree.
fireworks. Like the first one goes off, and you're like, okay, like
It's
I
a hot
saw it,
take.
it's cool. Do you like fireworks?
It's not that I like them. I agree with you. They're the same thing every time, but it's 4th of July. It's pretty big, right?
I mean they're nice. Like I want to see them from like the comfort of my own home. Like I don't want to drive somewhere. Like Worcester always has fireworks 4th of July.
Oh,
And
I got a story for you for this 4th of July. We were in the Common
uh-huh.
on the 4th of July watching the Common fireworks, and it started pouring down rain.
Oh my
And
God.
it was just people, obviously the Common was pretty full of people. It wasn't supposed to rain either. The forecast did not say it was going to rain. So that was
So you're
awful, to say
screwed
the least.
basically.
Oh, we were just pretty much like, whatever, like we're already here. Let's just take it. So
You might as well.
it
You
wasn't
have
fun.
to. You have to at that point.
Yeah.
But
Wasn't
yeah,
fun,
no.
but
I mean, some things are anticlimactic. I think just the best way you spend Christmas is just kind of hanging with the family, telling stories and whatnot. And I value that more because like COVID, the past 2 years have
yep.
obviously been really like messed up in terms of what you can and can't do. My aunt's a nurse, so she's been, you know, to the brim with COVID cases and whatnot. So we're hoping this year to kind of get together and finally have a somewhat normal holiday. But like, I don't know. I got COVID out of the way last week, had it last week. So
Yeah.
it was a blast. It was fun. Symptoms weren't too bad. I think the vaccine kind of halted that, but still sucked. It wasn't fun. Yeah, Christmas right around the corner. I think we should be able to crank out an episode before the 25th, right? That's a week from now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see why not. I mean,
We might as well.
yeah, we'll see what's going on, and we'll get something going.
It'll be good. But hey, episode 1, man, in the books.
Yeah,
How about that?
It feels good. I think we wanted to do something. We didn't have as much planned for the first one. Just trying to get back into the swing of things. But like I said, we're already discussing like future guests to come on. Obviously, the guests are probably the people's favorite part about even listening, because they like comes on. So I think we got some good guests. I'm sure we'll get some segments ready to go, and we got Nick over here a little hungover, so we'll make sure he isn't for the next time.
That was just a yawn. I'm tired. Saturday morning. I feel great. I mean, I feel great personally, so we're good. We're good to go. Yeah, I can't even believe that you're talking to me like that now. I mean, just from where we came from, I think when we first podcast, I was like 16, maybe 15.
Yeah, we were both young.
I'm 22 now, man. I mean, we're grown up.
Wild.
What are you? You're 26 now, aren't you?
Yep.
Old man over here. Old man Parker.
Yep. It's every day, man. It's getting a little cold here in Boston. The joints and the knees aren't really feeling as great as they used to.
Man,
it's rough.
I hear you, man. Like even just playing pickup basketball now and stuff. I'm like, yeah, we gotta run 2 games and go. We gotta leave.
Yeah.
But yeah, Beantown Breakdown, episode 1, Andrew. I mean, great to have you, man. As you said, we got some great ideas coming up for the future. Say once we get like 4 or 5 episodes in our back pocket, then we can start reaching out, getting some guests on for you guys, which we're really excited about because we have some great people in mind. Not just athletes, but also, hopefully some great just entertainment culture figures in mass. That's what we're kind of hoping to bring to you guys. But Beantown Breakdown, episode 1, presented by Boston Sports Syndicate. Make sure you head over to the site to check out everything that they have to feature, everything we have to feature. I know Andrew's going to be providing some Bruins content. I'll probably be providing some Celtics, Red Sox content once the baseball season comes around. I'm sure you'll be doing the same, Andrew. So yeah, we're excited. Thanks for joining us for episode 1. If you listen to the end, kudos to you. I mean, my goodness.
Shout out to you.
Shout out to you. Make sure you go and follow us on Twitter, which is the newly created Twitter. All the links to our socials will be provided for sure. So make sure you go check us out there. But guys, thanks so much for joining for episode 1, Beantown Breakdown. We're going to see you guys next time for episode 2. But until then, take care.